Hello YouTube, Robert here. Got myself a 2x4 here, and what I'm going to be doing is making myself a new fishing pole holder. Well, not holder, like somewhere to stick my rods when I'm fishing on the shore. Okay, so what I've done so far is I made this 13.5 inches, 13.5 inches, and then 13.5 inches. It's gonna be a 3-pole rod holder. And then what I did is I found the center of 3.5 inches, which turns out to be 1 3/4. Made a mark right there. And then with my drill, I am going to drill a hole right there. I am going to skip this one and make another hole right there. The reason why I'm skipping this one is because when I make the hole, I'm going to make the notch already for these ones. So I can mount to my base right here, and I can mount to my base right here, and then here's the third one. So that's what step I am right now. So far, this project has only cost me the price of the 2x4, which is I spent $3 on this 2x4. So, alright, let me go over the tools I'm using. Got a drill. I'm going to make my holes 3/4. You can go up to inch. I prefer an inch though, but I'm just going to make little notches. I'm fine with that. And then something straight. Make your lines. Obviously tape measure. And I'm going to use 3-inch grabbers. A pen to make your marks. And a circular saw. That's the tools you need for this little project I'm making. And the most important thing, safety glasses. Okay, so what I have now is a perfect circle. Right here. I wish I had an inch. I should go with an inch. I should have gone with an inch. But for this video and for what I'm going to be using it for, I think just a little notch would be just fine. So the next step is to hopefully cut it straight. This guide for this circular saw is not the best in the world, so that's the next step. And then, I'm not the world's best carpenter in the world, but when I drilled through, you can see it chipped out. I'm sure there's ways to preventing that from happening, but you know, this is going to be for fishing. This isn't furniture, so. Alright, so I got my rod holders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position them. I'm going to find a way to position them, and that's going to figure out what size base to use. See, there's several options. So see, the one I made before, it was going this way. Now I want it to be more like this, and then one in the middle, the next one like that. So I'm going to figure out where I'm going to have, how I'm going to lay it out, and that will decide the size of the base. Okay, so keep in mind, this is my own little project. I just thought of it in my head. There's no right or wrong or correct way of doing this. This is just something I can show you that's simple and it's cheap to make something durable to hold your fishing poles while you're fishing. So I came up with this design. It turned out that this is going to be a perfect size for my base. So number 3 looks like it's a little bit further away from number 2 than number 1 to number 2. But like I said, there's no perfect, correct way of doing this. This is just a fun little project, something that I know works. And sometimes in my state, it's really it's really hard to find some banks where you can actually stick something in the ground really good. So, yeah, it's just a fun little thing to do. So like I said, there's no correct way. And like right now, I'm going to come up with something creative to figure out a way to screw these in. But I think I'll come up with something. So anyways, stay tuned. So what I ended up doing is just driving the screw all the way through, because I didn't have the right drill bit. I hate pre-drilling, or not pre-drilling, because you can use a smaller drill bit, but I hate using the screws, because now when I drive my screw up, I just have to trust that those screws are going to be tough enough to go into here, because it's already going to be kind of weak right here, but then I'm going to drive a third screw in and it should be pretty sturdy. But that's just something you can do if you don't have the right drill bit. Okay, so I successfully screwed them in. Now, are you questioning how heavy it is? It's not that heavy. Is it bulk? Yeah. There it is sitting on the ground. I'm happy with it. See, in the state of Utah, you're not allowed to use 3 fishing poles, so like if I'm fishing with my daughter or a friend of mine or whatever, one person could be using this one, one person could be using the middle, and one person could be using that. Or I can have both my rods out and have the net sitting in the middle. So that was my idea. Now it's time to paint it up, make it look nice. Okay, so I decided not to paint it. So what I did take a piece of sandpaper and scratched off my extra pin marks. I mean, I'm having a hard time getting all of that pin marks to go away with the amount of sandpaper that I'm using. So, and then what I decided to do is I'm going to take my torch to it, just ever so lightly, and just put some burn marks on it. I think that'll look really nice. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take some, I'm going to basically give it a burn look to it. But not like crispy. Not like you just pulled it out of a campfire or something like that. But just nice and neat. Alright, you two. Instead of painting, I decided to give it a burn look. I love the way this looks, because it just burns like on the natural, make it look like wood. Let me show you the technique I was doing. I had my propane tank. It's out now, so I threw it away. So when I had the flame on, all I was doing, just lightly, like you're brushing. Sometimes you have to let it sit there for a second, but as soon as you see it start going black, you hurry and move it, because you don't want to keep it in one spot, so it'll just burn right through. Especially if you have a hot torch like I do. So, anyways, that's it. That took me only a half hour of my lunch hour to build that. Only a half hour. Like I said, there's different other ways of doing it. You probably can come up with something better than I can, but I like building projects for fishing, so this was a real easy project to do. My next step, I don't have it yet, but my next step is to actually find somewhere to put a handle on it. So I'm going to have a handle on it so it's easy to access to carry it. But if you hold it in the middle, it's not too bad. Just have one of your buddies help you carry it down to the river. That's it. That's all there is to it. Alright, thanks for watching. Like if you like, subscribe if you want. Alright, I also wanted to show you some new features that I put on here. I put a cup holder. I made this cup holder out of an old DAP spackle can. I drilled some holes in it so if it rains, water can drain out of there and it doesn't fill up with water. Then I put a handle on here. Put a handle on here. And then Adrian let me borrow his little burner. And I printed out a fish hook. And I put one on both sides just to decorate it. And that is my new fishing pole holder. Alright. Thanks.